favorite Christmas present?
My Paw Patrol toys.
Your what?
My Paw Patrol toys.
What kind of Paw Patrol toys did you get?
Motion Sky, Zuma, Chase, and
You know what I think?
Zuma, Smooth, and Rocky. See that open? I can't tell what it is.
This is my favorite Christmas present that I got for Christmas. I like it can go so high. I got it stuck in a tree, and one time I got it stuck on top of the slide out over there. I think it needs to be charged.
We started in St. Louis, and then we drove to Fayetteville, and then we drove to Conway, and then we drove to Dallas.
One before Dallas.
Tulsa. My favorite town was Tulsa.
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 Why was Tulsa your favorite town?
Because of the big park.
The big park. Tell me more about that. What was that like?
It was fun.
What was fun about it?
The slides.
What about the slide?
Twirly and had a lot of tongues.
Hey everybody, it's time for your update. It's been a month since we talked last and we are now in Dallas, but as you probably remember, we started in St. Louis. It's been quite a trek to get down here. I want to give you a couple updates along the way through there, and then I'll tell you about our Christmas. So first off, we left St. Louis to get to Dallas in the end, but we wanted to stop in several different cities along the way. So we got to the Ozarks the first night, spent a really beautiful night in a completely abandoned campground, and so that was a really peaceful retreat. We took a little hike the next morning. Then we headed onward to make it to Fayetteville, Arkansas, but we got stopped midway by a giant windstorm. And if you know anything about driving with a trailer, you just don't do it when you got a lot of wind. So we had to pull over because it was just dangerous, and honestly, it was pretty scary. So that set us back an extra day. And keep in mind, we were already about 2 weeks behind schedule because we were waiting for that part to come in for our truck in the repair shop. So we stopped just outside of Joplin, Missouri, and then the next day we finally made it to Fayetteville, Arkansas. And I went to Fayetteville specifically because there's a guy who lives there who's been following our LARC stuff and the podcast and just has stayed in touch with Russ Johnson over the years. And I got to meet with him for about 3 hours. I was really hoping to spend a week or two in town, but given our truck issues and the closeness of the holidays, we only had a day before he was heading out of town anyways. But I got to sit and drink coffee with him and hear the long version of his story. Maybe not the longest version, but we dove into some really good stuff, and he allowed me to hear and take on a lot of his story, and I got to share some encouragement with him. And that was just a really important and a really special experience. And I'm going to stay in touch with him a lot as the weeks roll on. And I'll certainly go see him again. So we went from there to Conway, Arkansas. We stayed in a state park in town called Toadsuck, and I've never heard of that kind of a name before, but pretty cool. Pretty random. Beautiful spot right on the river, and we got to explore Conway a little bit. But I was in Conway because there's a guy named Ryan who lives there with his family. Ryan took me out on Saturday night. We visited a bunch of his favorite spots in town, and we exchanged stories and got to learn a ton about each other. That was really, really refreshing. He's someone that's kind of in the same ministry mindset as I am, but he does a full-time gig doing something else. So we got to connect, and then on Sunday, I brought my family over to his place, and we all spent the entire day together. And that was a really fun, refreshing time, sharing stories, hearing about each other's lives, experiencing just the beauty of sharing good news with someone else that's kind of on a similar wavelength. And then we also got to just let the kids play and run wild and have a good time. He's got 1 kid, we got 4. So that was a really great time for them. But then Ryan and I ended up doing the LARC cast. We did an episode kind of accidentally out of nowhere. We weren't planning on it, but it needed to get done, and so we did it because Russ and Tony were busy. And I can share that with you. But then Ryan and I continued to work together for about a day, just working out some stuff that was important for Lark and for our vision and for stuff that just, it took a lot of time to sit and converse and work out some documents together. They showed us some good food and some good local stuff, and Arkansas is cool. That's the first time we've ever set foot in that state. We went from there over to Tulsa, Oklahoma, just to visit for a night on our way to Dallas, because we've heard Tulsa's cool. Tulsa is cool. Would love to go back to that city, and the kids got to see the biggest playground you've ever heard of in your life. Then we took the next day for a really long, pretty intense drive down to Dallas. When you do more than 5 hours, it's a lot to take on with the trailer and the family all in one. So we made it. We're here in Dallas. We're south of Dallas, actually, in Cedar Hill, which is this state park that we're in right now. Really beautiful lake just behind the camera, but the sun's there, so it didn't work for the camera. And we've been doing tons of hikes. We took a week off. We got to watch a bunch of movies. We did our tiny Christmas in a camper, and we've been really filling up our time with family here. We've obviously been back at work for over a week now, but we had a really good time just slowing down and taking a break, taking in some Texas. We've also, as a side note, you didn't ask for this, had our coldest night on record here in Dallas, Texas, which is just not what I was expecting. We hit, I think, 18 or 19 degrees. So we came south because we thought it'd be warmer here. So the other things I've been doing specifically with work are a lot of great meetings. One meeting I got, this is probably my favorite moment in the last month that I want to tell you about. One of the men I met at in Ryan's backyard, he had a little fire pit night, and 6 or 7 guys came over, and we had some drinks and a ton of conversation till like 1:30 in the morning. So there's a guy that works for Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and he connected me with someone here in Dallas. He's a 25-year-old kid, finished college, played baseball in college. Now he's a salesman. Met my friend from the FCA, and he discipled him into faith, which is really cool. So I've got this guy sitting across from me. We went and get barbecue together, and he became a follower of Jesus in college with zero church background of any kind or religion whatsoever. And so one of the questions he asked me as we were processing was, well, what is worship? You know, and he's all about reading the Bible right now. No one's making him, but he's so curious, and I love that. It's genuine. He's got none of that background of going to a certain denomination or a certain church or any kind of regular traditional experience whatsoever. And I got to help, encourage him in that and talk him through it a little bit and help him see the beauty of the celebration of the Christian life. And man, that was a cool moment. I'm excited for that to continue. He's going to bring some buddies over for a campfire out here at the state park, I think, soon. And we're just going to get to continue on that trail. And opportunities like that are really what it's all about. I just love this stuff. And we're spending a lot of time also here in Dallas with 2 families that are just so near and dear to our hearts. And it's been really great to reconnect and see their families and play with their kids and eat food together. So we're going to keep at it. We got a lot of work to do in January. I'm excited for the ministry that's ahead. And just be sure to keep up with all that we're doing. Check out our Instagram, follow our YouTube. We've got lots of great stuff going on. You can even take us up on some of the content we put out as Lark. I got to write some really cool blogs about the incarnation in December. And those are, honestly, they'd just be really great devotional material for you or anyone you know. And then the other guy on our team, Tony, he built a video for each of those blogs with the same theme. And they're just really cool, really beautiful videos. So take a look. We love you guys. Pray for us. Pray for our health especially. Pray for our finances. We came in at the end of the year in the positive, which is just a huge gift from God. And we're looking forward to how he's going to continue to provide for us in the future. We'll bring you some more updates soon. We love you guys.